Time for another stat video. This time we got water, so here we go, 50 useless water type stats. Just know I'm only taking into account the regular and regional forms. Alternate forms or megas are not considered when doing the calculation for the stats, unless stated otherwise. Alright, let's just start. Alomomola is the only water type to allocate 35% or more of its stat into HP. Pyukumuku is the only water type with a single digit value in any stat category. Toxapex has the highest bulk out of all water type at 344. Tortuga is the only water type to get over 100 defense without a base stat of over 400. The highest stat out of any stat category for water is defense, with 180 done by Cloyster. There are 30 water type Pokemon with a base health stat of below 50. None of them came from the Unova region. There are 44 water type who has over 80 base HP. None of them came from the Kalos or Alolan region. Octillery is the only water type to have both his attack stats over 100 while having a base stat below 600. Clamperl is the only water type that loses weight after evolving. Surskit is the only water type to lose its water typing upon evolution. The two lowest HP allocation by a water type are both from the same evolution line. The largest gap between attack and special attack of all water type is 80, which has been done 2 times and both came from the same evolution line. Likewise, there is only one water Pokemon who has a gap of 80 or higher for defensive categories. That Pokemon is Cloyster, who has a gap of 135. This is the average percentage allocation to the stats amongst all water types. All of Manaphy and Phione allocations are within 1 percentage point of each of the average. In fact, they are the only one who are within 2 percentage point of the averages. There are 2 water types that aren't within 5 percentage points of any of the average allocation, those being Feebas and Magikarp. If the cutoff is increased to 6.5 percentage points, only Feebas is left. Magikarp and Feebas has the largest single stat allocation amongst the water type, with 40% of their base stat going into speed. Slowbro Pokédex number is equal to its special defense. It's the only Pokemon to have this occurrence. Wiglett has the lowest bulk out of all Pokemon, with only 60. There are 4 water types whose special attack value is double or higher than their attack value. 2 of them came from the same evolution line. The most common water dual typing is water and rock, with 11. Water has been combined with every type multiple times except steel, fire, and normal. There are 7 water types that allocate 25% or more of all their stat to attack. All of them are either pure water or water dark. There are 34 water Pokemon with an attack stat of 50 or lower. None of them came from the Kalos region. Kanto introduced the most water types with 32 and also the highest concentration of water Pokemon, with 21.2% of all Kanto Pokemon being water type. When not including for regional form, the first 5 generations has released 110 water types, with the lowest being Sinnoh with 14. All generations since Unova failed to introduce at least 14. We halfway done, just letting y'all know my favorite water type is Kyogre cause it's cool like that. 40% of all Pokemon that start with the letter W are water types. Kabuto is the only water fossil that fails to hit triple digit defense. 28 water types has a speed stat of 40 or lower. None of them came from the Galar region. 6 water types were able to hit a special defense stat of 130 or higher. 4 of them came from the Alola region. 26 water types had a speed stat of 90 or higher. None of them came from the Johto region. For 2 consecutive generations, no dual type water Pokemon with a base stat below 475 was released. Kingler has the highest attack stat out of all water Pokemon, while Krabby has the largest attack allocation of all water Pokemon. The most occurring base stat for water Pokemon is 530, with 11 Pokemon having a base stat of this amount. Pyukumuku is the only final stage water Pokemon that can't learn Surf. On average, a water type Pokemon has a base stat of 420, and most water Pokemon are dual type. Only Azumarill is both. These are the average stats for water type. Wartortle is the only one within 12 points of each stat. Likewise, only Manaphy isn't within 25 points of the average for any stat category. There are 6 water Pokemon who allocates 30% or more of all their stat into speed. After evolving, only Wiglett's evolution maintains a speed allocation of at least 25%. If physical stats were removed, Wooper would have the lowest base stat with only 120. If physical stats were removed, Kyogre would have the highest stat with 480. If special stats were removed, Wishy-Washy would have the lowest stats with 125. If special stats were removed, Palkia would have the highest base stat with 410. There are 2 dual type water Pokemon that allocates less than 1/3 of all their base stat into bulk. Both are from the same evolution line. Mantan is the only water Pokemon to have both its special stats exactly double its physical stats, while Relicanth is the only one to do the opposite. 35 water Pokemon with an offense total of 160 or lower. None came from the Paldea region. Only Manaphy and Palkia has all their offensive stats equal to 100 or higher. Marl has the lowest total offensive stat amongst all water type at only 80. There are 2 water type whose HP, attack, special attack are the same while their defense aren't. Both came from the same evolution line. Wimpod to Golisopod is the largest decrease increase of speed allocation in all of Pokemon. There are 23 water type that starts with the letter S, the most common, and there are also 23 water Pokemon who allocate 50% or more of all their stat into any 2-stat category. Only Shellder is a part of both groups. Yeah, those were 50 useless water type stats. Just know I might need to scrounge for stats just to hit 50, but it just be like that. Which stat was your favorite and what type do you want to see next? And yeah, that's about it.